I want to talk to you today about a technique that a lot of successful entrepreneurs use to essentially know the future. Now, this at first might sound like a little bit of a clickbaity, hypey title for a video, but there's a lot of practical truth to it. And I know this from experience because my business partner Travis and I used this technique to start VIP Waste. And without this technique, I'm not sure we would have had any of the success that we've had. So let me explain what I'm talking about. By a technique to know the future, really what I'm saying is that there are geographic patterns for really how a lot of trends or popular ideas take off or how they spread. And we happen to know when we started our company that a lot of popular ideas and trends tend to start in bigger metropolitan areas like, let's say, Miami or New York or LA. And when a major idea, like let's say gourmet cupcakes, takes off in a place like Los Angeles, you're generally looking at 3 to 7 years, just from our observations. I don't have any studies or anything to show you, but from our observations, you're generally looking at 3 to 7 years before this idea becomes popular in Midwestern cities like Columbus, Ohio. And so by paying attention to what's happening in these other areas where we know ideas catch on first a number of years before they catch on here, you're able to essentially tell the future and to know what's going to happen in advance. And so that's what we did with VIP Waste. We knew that this idea of doorstep trash and recycling pickup for apartment communities was already popular along major metro areas, especially in the coastal areas of the United States. And so we knew that it was only a matter of time, since it was catching on as big as it was in those areas, before it came to the Midwest, especially because we knew that the need that existed in that area also existed in the Midwest, and because we knew there were a lot of people in similar situations. So we paid attention to what was happening there and we brought it here before it was the popular thing to do. Now that's the key piece of this whole puzzle. You've probably noticed from watching movements in technology and everything else that if you wait until it's a popular idea to start doing it, you're usually too late. So by watching what's happening in these other markets where things tend to start and knowing how long they tend to take before they reach your market, you can get really a head start on the competition. Now, is there a little bit higher risk? Sure, but you have proof that it works in other areas, and that's kind of a comforting thing a lot of times. So at least you have evidence that it's working somewhere, right? Now, what you can do then is start that particular concept where you are, whatever that business idea might be, and are you in for a little bit of a waiting period? A lot of times, yeah, you are. But by the time that idea, whatever it is, becomes a popular thing where you are, you're already the household name. Everybody already knows who you are. Everybody already trusts your brand because you were first and they already know about it. So anybody who starts after that is going to seem like an outsider. You have an advantage because you took a risk and you watched patterns that essentially helped you know the future in advance. So pay attention to what's happening in larger areas. You can really notice this stuff from watching TV, from social media, anything like that, where you can see what popular trends are, what types of products are taking off, what types of services are making headlines or whatever. A lot of times you'll see stuff that's popular on the front of a magazine cover that you've never even heard of in your part of the country or the world. And if it's a cool enough, valuable enough, and practical a lot of times enough idea, you can pretty much bet that eventually it's going to come to an area near where you are. So if you have an idea that you've noticed that's been taking off in a popular metropolitan area or somewhere where early adopters tend to hang out, that you think might eventually come to your area, and you want my feedback or the feedback of anybody else watching this video on that trend, you know how to comment below. Just go down there and write something for discussion, a question, whatever, and we'd love to talk about it with you. I'm paying attention to a ton of this stuff right now because at any given moment there are trends that are taking off that take time to spread to other areas of the country or the world. So it's a fascinating thing. Can't wait to hear your comments on it. Share this with a friend or share this on your Facebook page if you found it valuable. Have a great night.